I love deeply, but maybe I once loved the wrong person. I'm a Cancer. For so long, I truly believed that if I loved hard enough, gave selflessly enough, stayed soft and understanding enough, then the people I loved wouldn't leave. That if I poured enough care, enough patience, enough forgiveness into someone, maybe they'd see how much I meant it. Maybe they'd stay. Maybe they'd love me back with the same kind of depth. I love through the little things, through remembering the details no one else notices, through staying up late to listen even when I'm tired, through showing up not just when it's convenient, but when it matters, through doing things quietly without needing to be seen or praised. I've always believed that love is less about grand gestures and more about quiet consistency, about being there, about making someone feel safe, even when I don't feel safe myself. And because of that, I've given a lot, often too much. I've forgiven things I had no business forgiving, stayed in places where I felt invisible, swallowed my own pain so someone else wouldn't feel uncomfortable, told myself it was okay even when it wasn't, because I thought that's what love was supposed to be. I stayed not because I didn't know how to leave, but because I kept hoping that if I just held on a little longer, they'd finally understand. That if I became who they needed, maybe they'd finally see me, want me, choose me. But what I didn't realize then was that in trying to be enough for someone else, I was slowly becoming less of myself. I stopped asking for what I needed, stopped voicing my thoughts, stopped being soft with myself, because all of my softness had been spent trying to hold someone who didn't want to be held. And in return, I was met with silence, indifference, a growing distance that I kept trying to bridge, even when I was the only one trying. There were nights when I'd write long messages and then delete them. Afternoons where I'd rehearse what I wanted to say only to swallow it down when the moment came. I told myself I didn't want to seem too emotional, too sensitive, too much. But the truth was, I wasn't too much. I was just loving someone who couldn't receive the kind of love I offered, someone who didn't recognize the effort behind the quiet things, someone who was content to let me keep giving without ever once asking if I had anything left. I used to lie in bed at night, wondering if maybe I was broken. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe I was the reason people left. I questioned my worth, doubted my intuition, blamed myself for what wasn't mine to carry. Because no one ever asked how I was doing. No one ever noticed when my smile looked forced, when my energy dimmed, when my silence was really a cry for someone to reach in and ask, "Are you okay?" And maybe if someone had asked, I would have answered, but no one did, so I stayed quiet. I gave pieces of myself away just to keep the illusion of love alive. I cooked their favorite meals, learned their music, adapted to their world, hoping I'd somehow become indispensable. hoping that if I just kept loving right, they'd love me back. But love isn't meant to be a sacrifice that erases you. It isn't meant to cost your identity, your voice, your peace. And when I finally realized that I left, not in anger, not with bitterness, but with the quiet acceptance that I was the only one still trying, I left because no one was holding me back anymore. I left because I needed to learn what it felt like to be whole again, to stop performing, to stop over explaining, over giving, over compensating, to stop shrinking just to fit into someone else's idea of who I should be. And it was hard. Letting go always is. But slowly I began to rebuild. I stopped blaming myself for someone else's inability to stay. I stopped replaying conversations in my head, wondering what I should have said differently. I stopped believing that love was something I had to earn. Because the truth is, real love doesn't ask you to prove your worth. Real love holds space for your softness. Real love notices the things you don't say. Real love makes you feel safe without asking you to shrink. And most importantly, real love starts with you, the journey to healing. So now I'm still a Cancer, still tender, still thoughtful, still loving with depth and sincerity. But I've learned to love myself with that same kind of devotion. I've learned that I don't have to chase love, that I don't have to beg for connection, that I don't need to keep proving that I'm worth loving. I've learned to stop texting first just to keep a conversation alive, to stop checking in with people who never checked in with me, to stop giving so much energy to those who only took it for granted. I've learned that it's okay to sit in silence, not because I'm distant, but because I'm finally listening to my own needs. It's okay to walk away not because I don't care, but because I care about myself enough to stop staying in places that make me feel small. It's okay to outgrow people, even the ones you thought you'd love forever, because growth is not betrayal. Healing is not selfishness, and protecting your peace is not weakness. I still believe in love, deeply, but not the kind that asks you to stay quiet, not the kind that punishes you for feeling, not the kind that makes you doubt your own worth. I believe in the kind of love that sees you, that holds you, that listens, that brings calm instead of chaos. And until I find that kind of love from someone else, I'm committed to giving it to myself. Because the love I gave before, it wasn't a mistake. I wasn't wrong for loving deeply. I just gave that love to someone who couldn't hold it, who didn't understand it, who didn't deserve it, and that's not on me. The strength in your softness, Cancer. You are the moonlight on a restless sea, the warm hearth that feels like home, the quiet presence that makes others feel safe. Your love is a gift, not a burden. Your sensitivity is a strength, not a flaw. You've loved through pain, stayed through storms, and hoped through silence. That takes courage. a kind of courage the world doesn't always see. You've carried the weight of unreturned love, the ache of being unseen, the quiet pain of giving too much. But every moment you gave was a testament to your heart's resilience. Every tear you shed was a drop of your strength. Every silence you endured was a step toward your healing. Your heart is not broken, it's reborn. Like the tides you're ruled by, you rise and fall, but you always return. Stronger, wiser, more you, reclaiming your heart, your healing cancer, is a gentle tide moving in and out with the rhythm of the moon. It's not about forgetting the past or pretending the pain didn't happen. It's about learning to hold your heart with the same tenderness you've given others. It's about forgiving yourself for loving the wrong person, for staying too long, for hoping too much. It's about recognizing that your softness is not a liability, it's your power. Find a place that feels like yours, a cozy corner with a soft blanket, a quiet park bench under the stars, a journal where you pour out your thoughts. Place your hand over your heart and feel its steady rhythm. Say to yourself, I am not too much. I am enough. Write down what you're ready to release, the people who didn't see you, the expectations that weighed you down, the doubts that made you feel small. Keep that page as a reminder of your resilience, or let it go as a symbol of your freedom. Picture this. You're sitting by the ocean under a silver moon. The waves lap gently at the shore, carrying away the weight of old hurts. The air is soft, the night is quiet, and you are at peace. Each breath you take is a reminder that you are enough, that you don't need to prove your worth to anyone. This is your sanctuary, Cancer, a place where you can rest, where you can heal, where you can be fully yourself. The love you deserve, Cancer. You deserve a love that feels like home, a love that sees your sensitivity as strength, your quietness as depth, your heart as a treasure. You deserve someone who notices the things you don't say, who holds space for your emotions, who stays not because you ask them to, but because they want to. That love may not come quickly, and that's okay. You don't trust easily, and you shouldn't have to. The right love will be patient, consistent, and kind, a love that grows with you like a tide that rises and falls in harmony. Until that love arrives, be the one who loves yourself first. Be the one who listens to your own heart, who creates a safe space for your dreams, who reminds you that rest is not something you earn, it's something you deserve. You don't need to change who you are to be loved. You don't need to be louder or less emotional. You only need to be you, the soul who loves deeply, who feels profoundly, who heals tenderly. A message for every Cancer. Soul, for every Cancer and every soul who has loved deeply and hurt quietly, know this. Your heart is a treasure. Your sensitivity is a strength. Your love is a legacy. You don't need to rush your healing or compare your journey. You are arriving one breath, one moment, one act of self love at a time. Keep nurturing your soul, keep protecting your peace, and keep believing in the beauty of your heart. You are not broken, you are beautiful, and your light shines brightest in the quiet. The love you gave was never wasted. Every act of care, every moment of forgiveness, every quiet gesture was a seed planted, a moment of beauty that lives on even if they couldn't see it. You weren't wrong for loving deeply, you were brave. And now it's time to be brave for yourself, to give yourself the love you so freely gave to others, to hold your own heart with the same gentleness you offered the world. So, Cancer, keep loving, keep feeling, keep being the soft, steady soul you are. But let your love start with you. Let your healing be your own, and let your peace be your guide. Because you are not just a survivor, you are a nurturer, a dreamer, a soul whose love changes the world one quiet act at a time. You are enough.